that kind of bubbles and the safety of you know, little tight groups in
and the safety. Well, you clearly, Ned, made it clear that to be in a lockdown there's nothing safe about being in lockdown because we can get someone like you knocking on the door.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, well, it's nice to have visitors.
Yeah.
It is nice of visitors.
They were bored. She was bored. Ron and Ruth.
Yeah.
Great world.
Yeah, there was, and I think now it's interesting because and you, like Kate and Adrian, you also were a bit less confined, but also definitely confined in some way too.
I was just talking to Adrian about, I mean, the film's amazing, Chino, I love it. I was saying about how it feels to me like a real cautionary tale about humanity and how if just another level up of the erosion of morality and, you know, things like that, where we could be. And I was talking about Adrian's, the party scene, you know, when he's singing My Way. And for me at that point, it just becomes like this primal scream of a man, you know, at his utter depth of, you know, there were so many layers to the film, but it's absolutely incredible what you've made, really.
Oh, thanks. I think in that moment it's weird because I never intended that way, but there's a moment within that karaoke in one specific line when it's like when it starts picking up, and I think your line on the My Way is to say the things that man feel. There's a moment that Sally, when we were editing, I was like, oh, this is when Sally, all what you've seen before now wraps it up, and it feels that it's you, but it feels that it's all men, all this sort of
really does.
men just try to claim kind of their space in this world in which this sort of middle-aged white Brexity Trumpian men are denied their voices by all these other sort of people who are threatening the power and the authority, and how Sally, there's this kind of desperate kind of a shout and trying to reclaim.
Trying to grabbing desperately to hang on to that life, you know.
And this thing that is clearly sleeping out.
It's like the roof of the movie, actually, that scene. It's as if it's the desperate attempt to say I did it my way, and there's no one in the whole movie, there's no character who did it his way. Nobody was able to do it his way.
So true.
Emasculization, isn't it? Emasculation, is it? That's the word.
Yes.
The destruction of, like, these men are trying to save their souls, and they have trying to grip onto the last bit of their souls, you know, that's left before these strange visitors appear, you know.
And just everyone living such a life of unhappiness, you know, like as you said earlier, Ed, in the last interview, this life's full of mediocrity, you know. That mediocrity is literally suffocating us to death, you know. And I just love that way you showed, like, each sort of situation, the kind of bleakness, but also I was saying there's beautiful little pockets of humour that save you from the utter, you know, despair. There's times when I really laughed, but then I was like, oh God, this is really painful. And I love when I'm put in a position where I'm like, I don't know whether to laugh. Oh no, I don't know whether to, you know, and it's kind of like an assault and you don't know how to process stuff. yeah, I've had so much food for thought since watching it, and a real sense of uneasiness if we don't sort of do something soon, or the way we're all living, like this film is how we're going to end up, you know.
We just
it's funny because since the conception of the movie, like Brexit didn't happen, Trump didn't happen, the virus didn't happen, the Me Too movement didn't happen, the Black Lives Matter, like, so and sadly, as we were making it, like a lot of the stuff started, there were more and more layers, and weirdly enough, all these tragedies that had happened in and some others, the positive counter movement also that had happened, but all of that had somehow helped a lot. It initially helped with the financing. The Brexit and Trump was, I think, what really helped us when we were trying to finance the movie, and people were still like, oh, but this movie is like, what is exactly? And then Brexit and Trump happened almost back to back, and I remember our finances were, okay, I think now we got,
and then people understand.
They released
one good thing to it.
and they released, and even the idea of the white male and the decline of the white male. I remember I had that in mind, but I don't know why. Like, I decided to make it one, but it was not a very relevant thing back then when I started. It was not like a massive topic at the minute, and it started, and even weirdly enough, this so somehow the world has speed up a bit, like, since, and a lot of those things they became, and even now this whole idea of the lockdowns and the pandemics and all this.
I know. I mean, that's crazy with the, you know, the virus in the film, and so many things to create connections with at the moment, you know. And as you say, people like Trump and Boris Johnson in power, and
they should be singing My Way. I think we should.
Do you know one of my favorite moments, Chino, is the roller skater in the car park.
Oh yes.
It's just a moment in the film where you go, what is this? Just beauty.
Beautiful.
And the music, the composer, and the, I don't know, it's a kind of bleak poem, the whole thing, with touches of humor. But I love those touches in there where it really breathes, and there's beauty in the middle of this austerity, this kind of bleakness.
I totally agree.
Blooming.
Yeah, it was definitely a breathing moment, I guess, because Kate, you and Sam, somehow there was a little glimpse onto something that you both had, and this sort of, there was still somewhat hidden, but there was still something, this idea of this pure love and youth, and something that happened between you two.
Yeah, I thought that was a beautiful thing, and it just kind of like showed like what's in my character's head of what it was. But, you know, obviously I'm not living that fluid, beautiful life like the skater, but you just get this beautiful taste of past happiness or past love, or what somebody wants to achieve again. And it was very poignant.
It was interesting that Sally, and then somehow how you then later are trying to grasp onto that feeling, and how
I know
makes me laugh a lot. One thing that makes me laugh a lot is when you go to that guy, to this therapist, and just so not like really think, but is this gonna work? Is it? Of course.
And you get the whatever package it was, but it's like Ed was saying in our last interview. Again, it's such a depiction of our modern day society when we want cures for everything. When you do have people like all over the internet, like you were saying, Ed, offering cures for everything. And that just kind of summed that up. And also the bit, you know, when I'm like, you know, my inner voice is telling me, get Dominic out the house, you know, it's like, it's just, yeah, there's just no sense of, I've literally, I literally want Dominic out of the way. I've got my eye back in Sam, my husband's come home, and there's just no sense of any niceties of how you go about it, you know, like, oh God, it just kills me the way she is with Dom. It just kills me. That, yeah. But yeah, that's a beautiful moment with the roller skating, absolutely stunning.
Yeah, and you know, definitely the idea of the enlightenment when you suddenly you've read that book with a dolphin on the cover, and suddenly you found
I
found the
know. I was
light, you've
just,
seen the light.
yeah.
But that's quite a theme in the movie, where this new age kind of platitudes and you know, I mean, because Harry has a few earlier on, and then there's Adrian's boss who has some more. You know, what do the two letters mean to you? It's like self-help. So Chino's hatred for the self-help, you know, new age kind of platitudes is kind of a theme that goes quite the way all the way to Kate's part, obviously, where it's the,
I think in my childhood I grew up, I saw a lot of hippies when it was because when I was a kid, because a lot of the people around my parents, they were sort of hippies, pseudo hippies, and I saw a lot of people like really enlightened a lot of them in these quite eerie ways, on how they open their eyes and they smiles, and then suddenly they've seen God, or they've seen something, or they've seen some vision on LSD, and they've realized that. I look a lot at the clips of the Manson girls. That's the amazing when they are on trial. They've already killed all these people in these brutal ways, and they are singing in the courthouse. And they have these really serene faces, and they sing these beautiful songs, and they are like holding hands, and they just brutally kill all these people. And there's all these clips on YouTube, and they are so happy and so enlightened and so, and I remember,
they're brainwashed.
And those smiles, they are so creepy, Man.
You always lived in Madrid, Chino?
Sorry?
You always lived in Madrid when you were as a child and teenager?
Yes, but then I remember we used to go a lot to this island called Formentera, which is this small island next to Ibiza. And we used to spend all the summers there. And it was some kind of 60s paradise. And then by the time I was a kid, the 60s paradise was already turning into something else, and heroin was already seeping in, and that ended up like being, actually, some of these hippies friends of my parents, they end up, one of the best friends ended up killing his brother in this kind of, and throwing the body out of a cliff. There's something that went really wrong in that sort of hippie paradise. And I guess it always stayed with me how this sort of kind of new age utopia end up like just turning so badly. And I guess maybe there's an element of that in the movie, but so no, it was funny, no, it was a good experience, not doing all of this. And then it's true that then you make these things and you write these things, and then weird is when the characters, all the layers, like they were less space. For example, your character Dominic was I disliked Dominic a lot more on paper. Like I thought he was a more despicable human being, and then you made it yeah, it was you gave it this more compassionate. There was an element that yeah, it became a more likable, whilst still flawed, but like slightly like in the way that you perform it. It was, I end up, yeah, and I think it happened to a lot of people. You end up having feelings and somehow empathizing with this.
And each section has that though. People in the section that have a bit of humanity, and they feel like the rarity in the film, you know, the beautiful, when you bring the scrolls with the, you know, with the when you see the merchant, and there's such dignity in the artist who brings the scrolls and expecting his word to be kept, and such a beauty in his character. And you know, in the same when you go to the house, Ned, and get, you know, worm your way in, and there's just little pockets of really beautiful kindness, and like little glimpses of what life used to be like when we all used to give a shit about each other. And you know, it's a real nice mix of, so it's not, you don't feel as only in this film with these kind of people who have lost morality, and that you've still got these little wee rare gems of people who expect their word to be taken and expect loyalty and and they become very precious in the movie, like wee gems along the way, for me anyway, you know.
Yeah,
that kind of dignity.
For me, the one thing that was obviously being my first movie and the first kind of experience on working with actors for so, what it was interesting to see how much extra depth things got just because of the actors. How you like just saying the lines that were there. Obviously, you all changed a bit the lines, and we did rehearsals, and you even added some lines that were there, but still, even the lines that were just written, and some of the scenes that we just played following what it was there, just because there was a human being saying Sally, and you how much extra depth you brought to the and that was a really interesting experience for me, seeing how they all these extra layers that I didn't thought of the characters, they came to life because in the way you did it, but also just the fact that you are actual real people who are, it's impossible not to see that there's a person saying those lines.
The complexities of a human nature, you know.
Yeah, and that's what I learned. That's one of the biggest things I've learned in my first movie, that obviously the reason why good actors are good actors is because they add a lot of complexity to the characters, sometimes without even doing anything bad what is just written on the page, but just a good actor, what they just saying the lines that are also on the page and just doing exactly what they are meant to be doing. Good actors, they immediately add a lot of complexity to the, and that's, I guess, the difference between great actors and other actors. That and I think the great actors, what they do is, and I guess that's what, yeah, that's why, and that's something I've learned. I wasn't as aware of that as I was now that I made a film, how much it changes, and why great actors are great actors. It's just because great actors, even if they do only what you tell them to do, just because it's them, immediately the character becomes way more appealing, way more complex, way more watchable, way more, you have a lot of even the more despicable people like Dominic, that for me what's always, it was the character that I disliked the most on the script as a human being. And on the film, I don't dislike him. I understand that, you know, like he's just trying to do what he can, and he's just, I don't know, he's just trying to do his best, which is sort of wrong, but but he's just not. Yeah, he's just a poor guy who's just being left out.
Yeah. He's a flawed human being, isn't he? Who doesn't have the courage to live, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he gave Sid Vicious a run for his money.
He did.
Let's put it out as a single.
Yes.
Good.
And
I have to say, Jan, the moment you hand over your plans, it is your baby. You see you see that so clearly that's the equivalent of his daughter.
Yeah.
It's
and
so
much dignity. So much dignity in your character, the way you held yourself, the way you came back, and even there's a bit where you're about to leave with the thing and you go to the door and you stop, and the way it's so beautifully done, really beautiful character.
Probably possibly the most truest person in the film, I think.
Yeah.
Who's truly himself and kind of lives
quite pure.
with that, not trying to be,
it's
sticks
true
out
that,
in that way.
Thank you. No, great. That's how it's written, because I want to add to Chino when he says the thing I learned most now is that the actors give a life that I couldn't have imagined sometimes, and that's maybe the difference between an actor and an actor, or a better actor. But actually, it all starts as well by the director who creates the opening. Of course, the director in this case also has written the whole script, so it's really your baby, Chino. And I don't only say it as some kind of compliment in your direction, but when a director has the flexibility to see what happens between people, and has the flexibility to also want to leave the lines as and even I don't even mean leave the lines and change the lines, even when it stays the same line, but have the flexibility to say, oh yes, I didn't think of that. You can say this as you can say it this way, because the story, what you want to tell, Chino, is in you, so you can be flexible on set. And then I believe people can have some kind of very personal approach to the character. Every actor can have his really personal approach, and together have some kind of a homogenic whole, as a whole. I mean, homogenic in playing without a director who has not the flexibility, who says, no, I need now, he has to be a bit angry now. No, I need him now, I need a little tear. No, I need a very intense, long, how do you say it, regard? From
a look.
A look, yeah. Because sometimes when there is no flexibility, then you get all those cliches after each other, and now you don't see any cliche, and you have everything. You have tension, you have danger, you have sometimes you laugh inside. You have all the elements a good movie actually needs without the cliches, and that's the opening you create as a director on set with all us. Yeah.
Totally. And do you remember, I don't know if you remember when we first tried this scene, me saying, I listened to my inner voice, and remember I literally did that, get Dominic, remember I did the really weird. And you were like, you were so brilliant in where you brought me around to actually, she wasn't like, the way I did it was terrible, I'll just underline. But I had this like literal inner voice who kind of spoke like, and Chino was so brilliant with his direction. But he was literally, I can't describe how you directed me, but you brought out the way she said that, I would never have went that way with it. Like her being so like telling him it as if it's the best idea and the you know, makes more sense. I would have done it weirder in a way. And that's the beauty of being in good hands. You know, that scene could have been really bad in the wrong hands, you know. And I'm so grateful for directors because, yeah, sometimes we just have really shit ideas, you know.
We are going to put that outtake on YouTube, though.
Yeah.
that you must never show.
It was so funny. We always called when we were editing, because obviously you nickname scenes as you're editing with the editors or with software, with the people involved in the process. You have nicknames for things so people identify, and that was always The Exorcist. Like, oh, we need to, yeah, like the sound of The Exorcist scene, and we were always calling it The Exorcist scene.
Oh, dude, I dread it. I can't even think of editing rooms. It makes me feel like I want to be physically sick. So, yeah, but that makes me laugh. But yeah, you're such a wonderful, flexible, open-minded director, and it gives us the room to breathe and find different things, you know, which is beautiful.
Yeah, no, it's true that because we went through that process, and then when we thought of you, and then when because the stuff that we shot with Ned happened almost a year later that we did. Obviously, already I knew, and there already I've sort of saw a method that was working, and with you, Ned, already. Yeah, like you already brought a lot of Ned came with lines that were completely of his own that are really great. But I already saw that there was a method that was working, and already by the time we were on working, it was and it was so good. Yeah, I love those.
Oh, your bit's amazing, Ned. The way you go in and just manage to steal his life, basically, is incredible and so creepy when he's up on that 11th floor looking for you and you ain't, you know, nobody's there. It's so freaky. But that way that it was so seamless, how you come in, you know, oh, you could, you know, come in, and, you know, next thing you're cozying up in the arm round on the couch, and you were like, how the hell what have I just watched? It was amazing. It was like this incredible thing to watch, how seamless you made that character just steal his kind of life.
Great parting line. What's the parting line?
What?
When he talks about her performance in bed, just as he leaves.
God.
It's shocking. It's like,
it's crushing. It's awful. Oh, it's horrific.
It bursts her balloon just like poof.
See her whole face.
Kaylee's face was like, she was like it was. I love that close. And also,
it's a shocker.
How
it's so unpredictable as well. He comes in, he rings the door or knocks the door. It's so unpredictable. He seems really like a bit uncertain man, and he really needs help. And all of a sudden, really, and that's what's so good about it. That in the end, even the last line is unpredictable.
Yes, totally.
And how you blame it on them? That's so cruel. Like the way in which, like, no, it's just like because you are no fan and because you have crap in there. Like, it's like, what?
Oh, it's horrific. It's absolutely horrific. And because that's at the beginning, you know, you're soon in, you are like, what world have I entered with this film? Who are these people? And where are the rules that we normally have in society? They're all gone, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the audience curiosity. Well, is you know, because they're kept quite at length. The audience kept away from the knowledge of what is there a narrative, what's going on. I mean, and I love that curiosity and the humor. I mean, I love the slap. I love this when I slap.
Yes. Oh, that's brilliant.
I think it's great, and I love that. And the humor when the father in the fairy tale, the princess is gone, and now he's got this kind of boyfriend he writes. He's completely. That's when it gets like. There are moments that are quite hilarious. And
that is
outrageous, which is I did it my way, which is just like, I don't know whether to scream or laugh or what when that's going on.
Yeah, totally.
Cinematic genius and a piece of cinematic history in my book.
Yeah, I agree.
But there's always the tension. There's always some kind of danger in combination with always some kind of inner laugh as well. I always have the little girl who says, "Can you tell me a story in bed?" And she says, "Oh, boring." Then I have to. I think, what is she saying? And at the same time, it's so sad. That little girl always says it's boring. What life is she? Where is her life leading to? The combination of sadness and danger and laughing is and you can't pin it down like, oh, this is a line where we will laugh. No, you don't know.
You don't know.
And that's
sometimes you do all three at once. Do you know what I mean? You're like, oh, you know.
That's
I felt like that during the film.
Yeah.
No, that was definitely, it was interesting also to see where the humor, because it was all, where
and Teague is Johan, young Johan that's in the merchant in your story with when he's getting, taken to the factory and that, his face is brilliant, and I wanted to cry and laugh much because he's so. I thought he did a really good thing, like what you're saying, Jan, between humour and uneasy. That was a great part as well. The whole him going with the merchant, and then them both ending up pushed out the back of the factory, and they can't get back in and. Yeah, I really like that young Johan's character as well.
He had to get his head shaved, though, didn't he?
Yeah,
he did. He sent me the video of it, actually.
Oh yeah, it was real. Yeah, he got shaved.
I felt so bad because he's played so many roles that were based on that.
The hair.
That hair, and I was thinking, fuck, like his career is gonna change this because of it. A lot of the growth.
No, the hair is back. The hair is back. He's in the North, man. So he's got the hair down to his arse.
So is it as long now?
Oh yeah, longer.
Okay. So
and he looked brilliant with a shaved head as well. I thought he looked amazing. But his hair's back, so you're okay.
Okay, good. Because I think we were all a bit like, God, such a long
and
hair.
my mullet's grown out now, I'm glad to say.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I love your haircut, Kate. Yeah, was yeah.
There is such brilliant costume in the film as well, like just really oddness to everything. I couldn't quite. Have we gone really far in the future? But we've taken like some of the 80s with us and stuff. And there was really, I love the kind of costume and stuff in the film as well. Nice look.
No, that was definitely an interesting, and Edward, the costume designer, did a great job, and Kyra was great also. The makeup. Yeah,
she was great. Yeah.
Also, I love what they did with you, Jan. Yeah, like like it was a good character. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, when he came.
I remember when she was doing my hair. I said, "Are you serious now?" I said, okay. Let's decide. Chino, will have a look.
I thought your look was brilliant.
Yeah, no, was good. Yeah, no, was Was a very, very interesting. No, it's amazing when you see, one of the most amazing things, I guess, for me as a filmmaker, there's two things. Once when you put the camera and suddenly you see from the monitor how your movie looks like, and suddenly you finally see it, okay, this is the movie. You see it with the cinematography, with the framing, you see the space. And then also when you do a fitting. And when you do a fitting and suddenly you're trying things, yeah, no, that, and then suddenly there's a moment that click, yes.
Yeah.
And then there's a moment that it clicks and you see it and it's like, wow, now that's a character. And it's amazing the moment when you're trying, you spend like a lot of time, no, try this thing, try this other thing, the hair here, that, and then more click, that, yeah, that's it. And that's amazing when suddenly you see it and then you see the character. I think that's, for me, are some of the two most magical moments for me as a director always is when I see a character in the fitting and when I put the camera and I finally see how the movie looks like and I see it from the monitor. Oh, this is a movie. Obviously, when it works, because some of the times it's like, oh, this is not.
Yeah. not feeling right. Yeah.
And same thing.
It's like that as an actor as well, you know, costume and that. You put it on, you go like, oh, hello, you. Now you're here, you know. Costume's an amazing thing.
Yeah. And that's I guess the magic of cinema. Sorry, when you see someone becoming an actor, becoming someone else, and that's amazing. Yeah, and
now,
I guess
and now especially also in combination with the art department and the work which is done afterwards, the image is incredible.
Yeah,
photography is fantastic.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Ed and Kay are great.
Yeah,
they're fantastic. So what's happening with the screening? Who's watching us? Who's going to see the film? Who's watching the movie?
I know that my brother, because my brother, on top of that, I only have one brother and he lives in Montreal where the movie's premiering. And he's not only my only brother, but we are very close.
So you have one witness.
Yeah, we are very close and he loves this type of movies. Like he loves genre films. He loves science fiction films. This is a type of movie that, and also he's been involved throughout the whole process of the movie as someone that is close. Even he read earlier versions of the script. He's seen locations. He's seen pictures of the actors. I asked him, and then suddenly the movie's premiering in his city where he lives, and then there's no cinema to go. But he told me he's organizing a little event. Like he's gonna bring a few friends to his house, and they're gonna put it on a big screen, and they're gonna do some drinks and things. So at least there's gonna be a little bit of something. So he's gonna create some form of something, so he feels that it's not just him at home watching which is good. But it's strange. It's a pity that we are not there.
I know, it's rubbish.
I'd love to go to Canada.
Yeah, and Montreal is great. I was there last year, last summer, seeing my brother, and it was great. I was actually around this time of the year. But I don't know, I hope at one point the world, I don't know when, but there'll be a moment where we can all travel and watch this somewhere that is not just from our homes. And because even it's true that even if we could I went to the cinema the other day to see Tenet, just to have the experience. It was a bit weird. I was like, is this right? Is this wrong? Should I be here? Should I be not? It's true that the cinema was very sparse. They only, even though it was sold out, but they were selling only a fraction of like 20% of the tickets or something. So we were all very far away from each other. And there was not a lot of, so it was good in that. So there was not a sense, okay, but still, it wasn't like, there was something a bit wrong. being there. There's something. It's like So that's yeah. But hopefully there'll be a moment where it doesn't feel that wrong to be in a cinema and we can all
raise a glass and have
a drink after.
Group hug. Remember those things?
Not this
I miss hugging so much.
So but yeah, what can we do? But maybe also I thought, who knows, because maybe, let's say, if a miracle happens and a vaccine, whatever, cure, whatever happens, and next year the world goes back to normal, at least we'll be able to say, we premiere the movie that 1 year in which there were no cinemas. So there'll be this thing that will go down into some kind of, in film history, which is the year with no cinemas. The year where
that's right.
So in a way, maybe we could add into something of the film, and obviously it definitely fits. What is true that it definitely fits the movie to be released in that way, like the type of, not visually it's a pity, and for the soundtrack that we cannot experience it, but thematically it works really well. Because I was planning to do a screening for my friends, like one in London, one in Madrid, like private screenings, quite like in March, because we mastered it in March, and I was planning to do a screening in March, like one in London and one in Madrid, just to friends and family, for all of them to watch the film, because everyone has been asking me about the movie for too long. And then this thing happened, so suddenly like, wow, there's no screenings, no nothing. And at one point, my friends, everyone was in lockdown, and some of my closest friends, they were like, oh, the movie. I was like, no, but I'd rather wait. I want you to see it properly in a big screen. And at one point, I was like, you know what? Doesn't matter. Maybe this is a good time to watch it. So I sent the movie to some of my closest friends. It's like, okay, this is the right conditions. They are not technically the right conditions, but atmospherically they are, and it's good to see this movie in a lockdown. And probably the perception of the movie, if you watch it during the height of the lockdown, will be an interesting. So I send it to a few of my closest friends, and they end up watching it at home at the peak of the lockdown, and it was interesting because obviously they all called me after and told me what they thought and stuff, and it was so obviously very influenced their experience with what they were actually experiencing themselves in being locked, especially my friends in Madrid, where the lockdown there was very strict. There was no like the one in, I don't know how it was in Belgium or in Ireland, but here the UK was a bit relaxed. Madrid was like, just if you go out, the police will stop you immediately. And so there was lockdown, was just, you are in your house, you cannot get, and to get my friends in Madrid to watch it in that way was interesting, because I think they absorbed a lot more of the themes of the film, and it changed a bit the perception. So in a way it helped, and I guess it may be able to help the marketing of the film, is this thing we're all going through. I think there's definitely a very strong new angle for the marketing and distribution of the film that makes the film, gives it a bit more, some extra layer and some extra meaning. And so I think as Brexit and Trump helped with the financing, I think this virus is probably going to help us with the marketing. So there's always this there's a saying in Spanish that is something like there's always a good side to bad things.
Every cloud has a silver lining.
Yeah,
yeah. I think the quality, people's screens, you know, the people have better screens, you know, the quality of screens in lockdown, it's not too bad, you know. There are some people on the streets here showing movies on projectors outside, or they have been, you know, on the street. So they just
wow.
Yeah. I didn't give them the link.
Wow, that's interesting. But like,
Fellini movie.
Yeah, there's friends of ours that have got this company called Indie Cinema Group, and they're like a pop-up cinema, so they'll go wherever, you know, and they'll set up a cinema, and they're doing it at the moment. They're doing a lot of drive-in ones, just people like in the UK and stuff. Folk are just setting up in big car parks. Folk are driving to the movie, you know, and I'm wondering if that's, you know, until we come out of lockdown, if it'd be more things like that, like pop-up cinemas that, you know, people are in cars, or, you know, I don't know, but you do feel like there might be, I mean, they've been doing this for years. It's not a new thing from lockdown, but I just saw recently, like down in Ayr, they had like a big car park with a drive, and just places that wouldn't normally do it.
That's what I thought, actually. If this thing carries on for a long time, that in a way would be good just to in a few cities just to do these one-off screenings, and with something like that, drive-ins or something, some way in which we can screen it safely, and it's not in a cinema but in some form of outdoors location. And that's what I thought that we should definitely do if we still have no cinemas by next year, and on all the situation is still like that.
Guys, I'm gonna go because I'm on holiday, and
great.
We're about to go out.
Oh wow.
My family's
They'll be starving. Yeah, I need to go as well, actually, but it's really good chatting about this.
Yeah. Hello, Karen.
Yeah, Karen.
Well, thank you all again. I appreciate you all taking the time to speak about the movie, and I really enjoyed hearing about it. So thank you all again for taking the time today.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks a lot, Karen. Thanks a lot. Yeah, it's been great to also. It's the first time we've seen each other since the movie.
Yeah, I know.
So it's great.
Lovely to see y'all.
I'll see you tomorrow night, Kate. Huh?
Yes, I'll see you see you tomorrow night. Yeah, I'll be in my pajamas. But yeah, enjoy your holiday. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, great to see you all.
All right, nice to see you guys.
Thank